In 1932, Hedy appeared in a film that really catapulted her into the spotlight, but it would also haunt her for like the rest of her personal career. It was a double-edged sword for sure. The film was called Ecstasy. Hedy was 18 at the time, and she got the lead in the film, okay? So this character she's playing was a woman who was married to like a much older man who just didn't really give a shit about her anymore. And the film made waves, not because of that boring character plot, whatever. It was because Hedy performed an orgasm on screen. I know. I'm sure men thought it was the first time a woman ever faked it. Anyway, the shot itself is like so up close and personal. It's like you're having an orgasm with her. It's intense. It's hot, okay? And the world wasn't ready for it. But here's the thing. Hedy claimed that she didn't know how close up the scene was gonna be. So Hedy went into this thinking she was making art, which she was. But she also felt like the director had manipulated her. You know? Either way, this performance of hers was very scandalous, okay? Some people loved it because they saw it for what it was. It was a performance. It's a movie. It's an orgasm. Wow. A woman having an orgasm. Powerful. And a lot of people hated it. They thought it was just like straight up porn. Now, Ecstasy, this movie, was actually banned in America and Germany because it was considered overly sexual. And they considered it a bad representation of women. I know, because women shouldn't be having orgasms. Don't you know that? God bless America. And all this bad press was pretty embarrassing for Hedy. You know, she was also disappointed and confused. Like, how did all this happen? I thought we were making art. But on the upside, Ecstasy went on to win a big award at the Venice Film Festival. This meant that even though the movie was seen by many haters to be like smut and borderline porn, it was globally recognized as an award-winning film. It was great. This meant that Hedy literally had just gotten her big break. But I'm sure like for her, you're torn. You're torn because a lot of people are mad at you, but you're getting recognition. But a lot of people are mad at you, but you're getting recognition. Like, it's confusing, right? So Hedy starts doing more and more theater. She's getting lead roles, and she's really becoming a bit of a celebrity. There's one night she's just getting off the stage for a play called Sissy, which was getting major attention from theater critics, and she was handed like this huge bouquet of roses. Now this was pretty standard for Hedy. She would get roses from admirers like almost every single night. Guys would show up and try to get backstage to give Hedy their flowers in person. And Hedy would send most of them away because she's a classy woman. But also there was one stubborn guy who just kept showing up, to the point where she finally gives in and like agrees to meet with him. This guy's name was Fritz Mandl, and he was like the third richest man in Austria. Nice. I'd be like, yes, let him in. Let him in right now. Third richest? I'll take him, whatever. He was also a weapons manufacturer who was literally selling guns and ammo to Hitler. So that was the downside. There's always a catch with these rich ones, huh? Fuck. Well, obviously, Hedy's parents, once they found out, they did not approve of this relationship. But Hedy was in love and stubborn and independent. You couldn't tell her anything. She always had been. So she was gonna do whatever the hell she wanted to do. And also, this was before World War II started, so people didn't really realize just yet how horrible Hitler was. But his vibe, not great. And Hedy's parents, they could sense it, along with a lot of other Jewish people in Austria and Germany at the time. So unfortunately, in August of 1933, 18-year-old Hedy marries 33-year-old Fritz Mandl, and it was not a good call. Apparently, Fritz was an extremely controlling man. He didn't want anyone else to see Hedy, so he talked her out of pursuing acting and basically like kept her as a prisoner in his big fat castle. And what he hated more than anything was that scandalous movie she had done, the words that he would never speak, Ecstasy. Now, Fritz went full on psycho. He tried to track down every single copy of the film in circulation just so he could destroy them. He didn't want people watching his wife having an orgasm. He didn't even know what that looked like. So Hedy essentially becomes just a simple trophy wife. But there was one perk. Fritz would bring Hedy along to his business meetings and conferences with like the world's leading scientists. Fritz would be there talking about developing military technology and really brainstorming with all these people who are really smart, right? And she's learning. What he didn't realize was that his wife was secretly an engineering genius. So Hedy is like sitting in these same rooms with these scientists and she's hearing their ideas and she's essentially getting an amazing engineering education just by tagging along and keeping a few notes, you know? So a few years go by. She can't play this game anymore. She can't handle it, okay? This man is toxic. He's not letting me live my dreams or anything. In her autobiography, Hedy wrote, quote, "I knew very soon that I could never be an actress while I was his wife. He was the absolute monarch in his marriage. I was like a doll. I was like a thing, some object of art which had to be guarded and imprisoned, having no mind, no life of its own," end quote. Which, you know, she's not having it. But Fritz, obviously, he wasn't just gonna let her walk out. She was his most prized possession. But it was getting more and more dangerous to be Jewish in Austria by this point. So she couldn't just leave. She really needed an escape plan. So here's the escape plan that Hedy comes up with. Step 1, drug the maid. We love that. So she crushed up some sleeping pills. I mean, I don't love drugging the maids. I'm sorry, but I just like that someone did this. This is funny. It's not, but like you get it. Okay, so she crushed up some sleeping pills and then she slipped them into her maid's drink. Then she waited for the maid to pass out. Step 3, that was step 2. Step 3, while the maid was out cold, undress her, take some clothing, swap it, and then she puts on the maid's clothes as a disguise. Brilliant. Step 4, she steals the maid's bicycle and she fucking pedals her way out of there, bitch. I love it. I love it. Hedy pedals her way through town like her life depended on it, which it did, really. She had all of her jewels and her valuables like sewn into the lining of her coat, just in case like she gets stopped. She doesn't look like a maid who just stole a bunch of jewelry. She's smart. She had a plan. Good for her. Honestly, it's giving me Scooby-Doo, and I'm all here. It's very Scooby-Doo of her. So she heads to London. I'm not sure if she's still on this bike. I'm going to assume no, but like she goes to London. And this turns out to be an amazing luck because guess who was in London at the exact same time doing a little talent scouting? Bitch, it's Louis B. Mayer. Oh, you don't know him? Let me tell you. The head of MGM Studios. You know, the lion. You know that lion? MGM, huge. He was there looking for gorgies.